I'm going to be looking at the wrong place. For some reason, I just want to look at that corner. Maybe I'll just look at the mirror up there and I won't see a corner. And then you guys can see me anyway. Okay, let's see. I got to play a trick on my brain because it ain't working very good. No, I shouldn't say that. But what I mean is I'm having a hard time with the camera situation. Where to look. Look here. So maybe I'll do that. I'll just look at the mirror right above because I have a mirror in front of me now. It's cool beans. I like it. I should always stop and say, hey, this is Mary Lou of Blues Touch. I am Lou. But I am Mary Lou too. And some people even know me as Lulu. I don't like that. But I guess they're special and I'll let them get away with it. My brother always called me Lulu, okay? And his children do the same. Anyway, I do. I feel like I got something in my eyeball. I wish it would stop. Then I've got cream on my hands, so I go put my finger in my eye, and so I got something else in there now. The cream. Duck on it. I'm going to have to stop again. What's in there? like the song, is anybody in there? Yeah, I need to go back to the old music. I love that. And I would like to go and find, haven't figured what it's called. There's this thing in Portland, Oregon at the zoo, but it's by the zoo. It's not the zoo, okay? But it's scientific. They have scientific stuff there. And then they have an auditorium, which is round, and it's a dome. There's a dome across the top, okay? And they give light shows there. And one time a friend took me there, and they must have been, I remember Pink Floyd. But what it was, sensors. So the music is, the lights are going all over the place to the music. And it's really cool. And you sit back in your chair. So these recliner things at the studios or the theaters these days are pretty cool. I mean, up here in Washington, they seem to have those. My Aunt Kathy has taken me to a couple of movies. And they've been very enjoyable. But if you have a problem going to sleep, you might not want to recline too much. No, I want to stay awake. But it's very comfortable. And I haven't fell asleep because they've been good movies, but I have been known to fall asleep. Because if I sit still too long, I'll go to sleep. If I am not engaged in something and I'm just sitting still, I'll be asleep. Unless I've had plenty of sleep and can't go to sleep. But I'm not getting enough sleep anyway, even when I try. I think that I could do better. And no, I haven't been. There was a time that my naturopath put me on 20 milligrams of melatonin. And that was because I couldn't sleep. I was going without sleep. I had so much energy flying through my body. This was after I'd had, let's see, it's been a while now, so I can't correlate it quite well, but, it was during the time when I was diagnosed with cancer. And then I had scans going on and decisions to be made and a precarious life at home, besides the fact of cancer. Just all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I did call on the powers that be to help me, but I dropped the ball. So I don't know if it's too late. But I keep seeing all these videos that my sister set me up with. Some of them, I need to go back to her email or her text and get back on those, because she sent me a whole lot of different things. And what I went on a journey with this one or two guys, and that brings in all this other stuff. And so pretty soon you got all this stuff. And I think a lot of what she sent me was from him. This is Dr. William Lee. I'm liking what he's got to say, and he's a scientist and a researcher, and he's responsible for a lot of medications that are helping a lot of people. But he's also come to the conclusion, or maybe it was the other guy he was talking to. No, food is medicine. We need to eat. And I have been living on powder for a long time. You know, I'm lazy. Not just lazy, not have enough money to buy the food that's out there. And then the food that's out there, you got to be careful. My naturopath said to me, and I don't go to her, I'm still claiming her, okay? I just don't go because I can't afford it. I was set up real good, but I got a lot of good information from her. Anyway, I was talking about food being medicine. And there's things I'm supposed to be doing that she told me to do that I haven't done. Because I left all my stuff. I gathered all my stuff and I had it in Colorado. But when you travel, you don't take it with you. And I didn't know I wasn't going to head back home. So all my stuff is there. It's hard to take care of yourself when you're not in your own space. I should really go back to my own space. It's all for, you need a good space to be. I get a headache just thinking about it. It's just a lot of work, okay? It needs things done to it so that life won't be so hard. Because life can be hard. Right now it's set up with a generator to get the water out. And if the generator don't work, then I don't know what he's doing to get the water out. We need to set up a pump. A hand pump, if nothing else, you know? Because you can go, and I've seen a guy buy it at the feed store. I saw this guy walking up to the front with it looked like a 20-foot pole, but maybe it was just 10. It was 10. It couldn't have been 20. But he had it up here in the air carrying it, and it had a big hand pump on it. Okay, like in the old days, in the Western days. That's what you need. Now, we do have the wood across the well. I think we should have cleaned the well out a lot better. Because the well was out there for a long time without a lid on it. And so you got the dirt just flying. And but, you know, that'll settle down to the bottom of the well. But who knows what was in there. We cleaned it out some. And we used it and used it and used it. So it's pretty clean now. But I did, I keep saying there was a partner, and he did a lot of the work because I couldn't have done it, and there's no way just one person out there, I mean, a male can do it. Now you guys are thinking, oh, I can do anything. Well, yeah, you can. Do you want to? I don't. And no, I really don't. Because in the wintertime, when you got to go get water, I mean, this was when we had cattle, okay? We had to go to the well every day. You don't have to do that anymore because there's no animals except for 2 dogs. There's 2 dogs left. But man, we had a lot of animals we were taking care of, okay? So that's food, hay, and grain, and getting water every day at the well. I can't, my words escape me, but you know, like we overused. I couldn't think. I don't think you shouldn't have to be able to overuse a damn generator. 1 year, 365 days. I mean, I bought one that ran on propane and gas. I mean, yeah, propane and gasoline. So that we could have an alternative fuel if need be. But still, they have parts problems. You need to know what you're doing. Can be done. You can order the parts and fix them. So I've got 2 or 3 generators laying around that needs a fixing. I've got a 4-wheeler that needs fixing. And I've got vehicles that need fixing. And I've got dreams that need to be acted upon. Now, see, my dreams have changed. I had dreams of living on the land, away from people who put their rules and regulations on you. I wanted to get away from people, although I'm a people person. But people have, they can be bad. There's some bad people out there. People who take delight in causing trouble. There really are. I can't believe it. When you're a certain way, you have no idea of all that's going on out there and how rotten people can be. How can they be like that? Well, they don't know any better. Yeah, they do. But life has put them in a place where it's not cool. I'm not giving them any excuses. But you are a product of your environment. And if you're not careful, Satan wins, because the nature of man is carnal. And our job is to overcome that. And when I say man, I'm talking men and women, okay? The human race. We're all of the human race. You get that? Not different colors, that don't matter. It did matter. When black came into being, do you guys realize that was because of Cain? Cain killed Abel. He made a pact with the devil, secret combinations, and he killed his brother over jealousy. But see, God knows all. You can't hide what you're doing from God, okay? Just because he lets you get away with it for a while, don't mean you're getting away with it. But the point is, let's go back to Cain. Cain was cursed with a black skin. I don't know how black was, because there's all different colors, especially these days, because we're all integrated. Is that the right word? Our cultures are all together, so the colors are not as they were back when. But the dark skin came from Cain, and it was to set him apart and his seed. Anything that came from Cain had a color of skin so that they would be known and not to mingle with, okay? It had to do with the brain and a curse. They were cursed. Now, yes, I do not believe that we should be punished for our father's sins. Okay, that's their business. But that was a major one, and God did that, and it's in the Bible. Okay, so then you got some people who come over here to America. It was not called America back then. It was the Promised Land. They were brought over here and promised. I mean, this is the Promised Land, okay? The land of milk and honey. But what people do here changes things. So you got this family that comes over from Jerusalem 600 years before Christ. And they have 4 boys to begin with. They had a couple out in the wilderness. I don't really know. There was children born, I don't know. So I shouldn't say they had a couple more boys, but I think they had at least one. But the point is, Laman and Lemuel were the 2 oldest boys. And they were rotten. I don't know what word I should use, but they rebelled. Now, I'm a rebellious soul, but not the kind of rebellion they did. They tried to kill their brother. They were horrible. And then, so they get to this new land, and what they brought with them was them and another family, and there was a servant of that family, and then there was also this guy. I'm pretty sure, that when they got the brass plates from Laban, whom they, it was a big story, he ended up with his head slid off because it was better that one man die than a whole nation suffer in unbelief. I believe that's kind of a paraphrase, okay? You have to go back and check that story out. And maybe I should endeavor to do that for you. Maybe I really should. I did buy me some index cards. So I need to write that down. But see, I'm getting distracted. What was I telling you about? Because I just covered a bunch of different ground. But I need to finish about the Lamanites. Okay? Laman and his descendants. And I'm not sure if Lemuel was part of that. But Lamanites is after Laman. And he is the oldest son of Lehi. And they came over to a promised land. But I do believe they were probably in that neck of the woods alone. I don't know. I'm not sure where the Jaredites landed. Where were they? Were they in South America or were they in North America? Lamanites, which were cursed. Laman was cursed also with a red skin, okay? Because of their savageness. No. It's so hard to believe that people can be the way they were and are still. How can people be like that? But they are. Oh my God. You know, there's just things. We have allowed all these other cultures to come into our country that have all kinds of different mindsets, okay? Like life. Maybe it's okay to kill where they come from. Maybe it's okay for the man to rape a woman when he wants to, where he comes from. Murder. We have allowed all this stuff to come into our peaceful country, and it ain't peaceful no more. It hasn't been for a long time because our government, way back when, waged war on the hippies. How stupid. I want to punish those in charge of that, because look at the lives they have ruined. There's still a war in our own country, government against the people, the law against the people, when you're supposed to be helping the people. You know, you don't have to worry about job security if you go about being helpful instead of mean, giving tickets. You know, I know someone who's gotten tickets and then their license is taken away, and then they know her and she can't get those tickets paid. She's working all she can to pay everything, and so they're watching for her now, ticket after ticket. Well, now she gets to go to jail. What kind of crap is that? Don't you have better things to do than harass people? She's just trying to get to her job, just trying to get her kids to school. So you lay in wait. If that's what you're doing, then you need to be paid. Not the money from your job, but some karma. Because you're supposed to be helpful. You don't tear someone down and down and down until they're in the ground. And then put their ass in jail. Now what are they going to do for their kids? I'm sorry, but you know, that just happened to a friend of mine, and so I'm very upset about that. Because it's not just her, it's happening all over. You know, I'm sorry. Our world is a mess. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's not just what's going on now, which is really bad, but these things I've been reading, they really happened. And they happened here in this country where people slaughtered each other. And it's here on a smaller level, but it's here. Back then they used weapons like, they didn't have guns. They didn't have bullets. They had things that hurt you, They had a saw. Not a saw, a sword. A sword. And things with barbs on them so they could conk you in the head. Whatever. They used everything to kill and maim and hurt and fight stupid wars. Okay, so that's the Lamanites. They became savages, man. And so did the Nephites. See, what you got is Lamanites and Lemuelites, because of Laman and Lemuel, Nephi and Sam. I don't know what Sam's thing was, but nevertheless, Nephites that came after Nephi, and he was the one. You would say the chosen one out of those 4 boys. He was the light of Lehi's eye, as in, what fathers and sons would go through. Lehi was a man of God, okay? And he was the one that was out telling people to repent. And that's why they left Jerusalem, because they were fixing to be killed. But I know that there was a bigger story there, because it was already known what was going to happen, see? And so a new nation had to come. So they went to the promised land. And they took the brass plates with them, which was very important, because it was not just genealogy, but the covenants. Everything was in there from the beginning, from Adam and Eve down. And if they'd have left them behind in Jerusalem, they would have been destroyed and we wouldn't have them. So the brass plates, that's stuff that's probably in the Bible too. But maybe there might be a little bit more of an explanation of different things, who knows? Because there were things lost. There were things lost in translation. And then there was books chosen. I mean, you couldn't have them all, could you? That's kind of like Mormon. He was an historian, and he abridged records. He pulled out the most important things to be carried on, because you couldn't keep them all. I mean, there's lots and lots and lots of records somewhere, probably in the mountains, because they showed that in that movie, The Testaments. They showed a place where the records were, and people worked there, and people went there to get records, kind of like going to a library. Because back then, they didn't have the scriptures like we have. They were a part of the scriptures. They were making the scriptures, keeping records that going through time. I mean, just think about that. So the brass plates was all important, and they had to go back and get those. See, I've talked about this before, and I know you guys probably have not gone back, but there's a wealth of knowledge in my videos, people, because it just comes out when it comes out, when I be talking about certain things, and it'll make me remember something, and I get off track like I've done here. I hate that there has to be so much hate. I hate that there has to be war. But the natural culling of the human race, let's take a few million out. You know what that word means, culling. They use that for animals when they're going to kill them, okay? Because there's too much of a population. So they're going to kill animals. So, you don't think they're doing that to the people? They starting wars and doing all kinds of crap just so they can take our people, kill them and maim them, put us in a weaker state. Do you realize that our men and women should be here in our country fighting our borders? You know, kind of like a moat. We have a moat around us that they can get to us. We can be taken over. Don't be mistaken. All this stuff out there is a bunch of baloney. It's really sad. Anyway, there's things going on that you don't know. Let's see, that sounds like that song. I think that might even be the name of it. Have you ever been down in the ghetto? Have you ever felt that cold wind blow? Well, if you don't know what I mean, then you should stand up and scream, because there's things going on that you don't know. It is true. I mean, I do look around and thank my lucky stars. Even when I didn't have much, I still was thankful for what I had, knowing that someday I might not have that. And the things that are coming in this world is not good if we don't change something. The love of Christ is going to be everyone's salvation. You know, some of the prophecies I've heard about for the last days, I don't know where they came from, and so I can't say they're gospel truth, because I'm not saying they're from the gospel, okay? Because people write books, and then people repeat things, and then you don't know for a fact where it came from. But America's going to be desolate before it's done. You know, war's been over yonder. Well, war's going to be here. And it's not funny. It's really quite scary, because these people do not have a Christian mindset. We are the evil one that they want to eliminate. And you don't think they want to take our country? The land of milk and honey, which people destroy every day with pollutants and all kinds of crap. No respect. Anyway, I better get back to some things, okay? Just because there were curses made way back when, I know that's those two colors, okay? The Indians are the remnant of the Lamanites. The Lamanites actually came over here. Laman came over here from Jerusalem, but he was cursed with that color skin because of his savageness, and also to set him apart so they weren't to mingle, meaning not marry into, stay away from that color skin, because it was a curse. I don't know about these other colors. I figured they were just because of the environment they're in, you know, how much sun they get and this and that. But I don't know. Isn't there a yellow? Just like that song says, what is it? Red and yellow, black and white, we are precious in his sight. We are all children of God, and that's my point. But there are savages, because they know no better. And there are people that really don't know any better, okay? And they haven't been taught, because they have their own lifestyle going on in the jungle, over in some African country or some other country. Who knows? But the point is, we're all they don't know any better. We do. And maybe there aren't any jungles like that anymore, but there were. Okay? And the missionaries, I'm going to find something from my nose. The missionaries are out wherever they can be teaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, letting people know who they are and that they need to be taught. You don't kill people. Life has a purpose, just like I've been trying to tell you guys. Life has a purpose. You want to become exalted so that you can be like God. And there's one thing that because I was just scanning over what I was thinking about reading. What was the point? Oh, to be like God. To be exalted is to be able to continue your seed. You will be creating children forever. So that is an eternal life. That's what that means. Not just that you are going to live forever, but that your seed, you will create children without number, as the grains of the sand in the sea. Something like that. I was close, anyway. I gotta wipe my nose. Sorry. Jeez. Oh. Anyway, I didn't mean to cry, guys. I'm sorry about that. It's just that there's so much war going on right in our country without letting anybody else in. I mean, just the government and the law and what it's done. Throwing people in jail, tearing people apart. You guys thinking you're doing good when you're doing evil. You're using this law to ruin people's lives. Just because it's the law doesn't make it right. We need to change the law. That's where it goes. Quit making everybody a criminal. You know, the real criminals will walk in the street because there's no room for them in prison. No, let's put traffic violators and pot smokers and drug users even. You know, because I think you got bigger fish to fry. I'm serious about that, putting fuel on a fire. Stirring up a hornet's nest that you cannot control anyway. So let's just poke the hell out of all these people that are already demented in their minds because of what they're doing. I mean, if they've got a bad habit, that's all they can think about. That is all they can think about. And anything that gets in that way is a problem. And then you guys come along and make it even harder and harder. Now, there are things, yes, they shouldn't be, because they're dangerous when they're on these certain drugs. Very dangerous. But then there's the part about, well, they're going to kill themselves. Well, it's a really sad thing to say, but sometimes that might be the only way. I know that's going to bring bad, but I mean, we need to educate our people. We need to educate our children, and sometimes they're not going to learn a lesson until they go through it. And you don't want them to die, guys, okay? I didn't mean that, but I'm just saying, if they're in a position where that's all that's happening, and they're just a mess, and sooner or later that is what's going to happen, they're going to kill themselves, because they're going to OD. But you're poking them, and making it worse. Some of those people need to be in a padded cell, because they're not in reality. There are reasons sometimes for that, but I'm just saying, there are some things that are not right. And just because it is a law doesn't make it right. tearing families apart. And then the chain of jobs that's attached to all that. Job security. Well, we got counselors. We got lawyers. We got probation officers. We got so many freaking things that they got to do that they ain't got a life no more. They didn't have a life to begin with if they were in really bad shape. And yes, those children need to be protected if they're doing certain things. But not pot, people. I mean, gee willikers, that just mellows you out and makes you able to put up with some stuff. Makes you able to be a better parent because you're not freaked out over stupid shit. Yeah, I know. You know what I want to say. And it did kind of say it. Nevertheless, I'm just saying we got bigger fish to fry. Like making this a happy place instead of a horrible place. And not sending our children off to war. In other countries, battling for what? I mean, yeah, I know some of it. Yeah, I know. Israel's a big deal. But what's going on over there for reals? And how much game playing goes on? You go in and take out the right people immediately. You ain't got to make the whole country suffer. I mean, really. Sometimes that's what I think. The leaders should be on the battlefield. And then let's see how fast they come up with a truce. What is that thing called? A truce. A truce and a treaty. Putting those two words together. We're all suffering because of a few. And some things are good laws, but I'm just saying there's murderers and rapists and thieves walking the street because there's no room in prison for them, first of all. And then maybe instead of prison, certain ones, like I just said, padded cells, because there's a few that need that are still walking the streets. We have mentally ill people everywhere. But how can they help themselves but be mentally ill? I'm mentally ill, I bet. Put a label on it. Yeah, we're just people. We're just people, and some of us are going through rough times. So, that wasn't what I was going to talk about at all. Let the Spirit take over. I was going to read about, well, the next thing I think it was Godhood, okay, which is something we might be seeking for, you know. I mean, that's why we came to Earth, was to be able to achieve what our father and mother did. You know, this is our next step in our progression to become like them. This is like going off to college, I guess. I don't know. You got all these different classes because of how much money people have. So, I mean, you guys put value on a life because of money. No, those people get lost. Money can be the root of all evil. Money can also be a wonderful thing. It depends on how you use it. But then there's that temptation. Because temptation is real. Like money. Shouldn't really give some people money because they'll end up killing themselves with it. Especially if they're susceptible to drugs and temptation and partying. You give somebody too much money that does those things, he'll be dead. Because he will OD on something. So you got to control that. Don't just give them stuff. They need to earn it. I mean, you can give them, I think there might be someone in the yard. You can give them stuff, but they need to earn it. Like I said, don't just give it to them. And don't give them that much. You need control. Yeah. The lawn care people are here. So they's out there weed eating. Godhead, that says Godhead. Did I do the Godhead? I did, didn't I? Because that's where the mark was. Godhood was the next one that I was going to do. And then there's one after that. There's a whole bunch of these things. Wow. Okay. Battle. Second coming. Well, here is a Sam, one Sam. I wonder what that is, if that's in the Bible. Okay, I'm sorry, I got carried away. Okay, so the one I was going to do was Godhood, because surely I already did Godhead, and I need to do that. Okay, my last video I read the Godhead. I know you're there, people. Just bear with me, because what I got to do is go back and hashtag, and I haven't. For some reason, it wants to shut off on me before I can get done with the name, the title, the description, da 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 da. So it shuts off. I mean, it won't let me type anymore, but it won't let me do anything anymore. So I have to get out of YouTube and then come back to it and do it, start all over again. So I need to go back and hashtag some things. So Godhead was in the last one, and also, what else? Godhead and Godhood. No, I did God first. Okay, so I read God, read about God, and then I did Godhead, and I'm not sure. See, here's one that says God as a spirit. I do not believe that I did that one. And then Godhead, and then, let's see, Godhood. Godhood is the one I'm going to do. But did I do Godhead? I don't know if I did that. I want to read this very last paragraph out of Godhead. Probably should read more than that. But anyway, it says, "And all those who keep his commandments shall grow up from grace to grace and become heirs of the heavenly kingdom and joint heirs with Jesus Christ, possessing the same mind, being transformed into the same image or likeness, even the express image of him who fills all in all, being filled with the fullness of his glory, and become one in him, even as the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost are one." That's Lectures on Faith, pages 50 and 51, and I might have done that. I don't know. I guess I'll have to find out. I read it. Okay, so we're going to start with Godhood today. I'm so silly. I'm just trying to get myself, I need to go back and do hashtags because people don't know what's in there. I mean, I don't understand it though, because I haven't been able to hashtag some, and one video just took off like wildfire. Not that it was a whole lot. I mean, I thought 600 views was pretty good because I only have like 14, 20, 33, on some of my videos, and all of a sudden, so why? So either someone is listening and has put it out there, which I have a feeling they have, because somebody commented once and told me, she says, I don't understand your channel. But what she was saying, she continued, was that it just showed up. My channel showed up on her feed, her news feed, and she didn't know why. And I don't know why either, because it was not hashtagged. So I told her, I said, sometimes somebody's listening and they send them out to like-minded people sometimes. But my stuff is about a lot of different things. It's not just about God. But basically it boils down to it is because I'm about sharing with my brothers and sisters. And if I didn't know about God, and if he was an integral part of that, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't know anything. That might not have made sense because I went in different directions. Guys out there making a bunch of noise. They didn't come last week, so I'm glad they're here this week. I wonder sometimes if because I'm not involved. So I don't know if they billed Dad correctly, if he's charged once a week or what. So just sometimes you wonder if people are honest or not. So and these three constitute the Godhead and are one. The Father and the Son, possessing the same mind, the same wisdom, glory, power, and fullness, filling all in all. The Son being filled with the fullness of the mind, glory, and power. Or, in other words, the Spirit, glory, and power of the Father, possessing all knowledge and glory. Saying Jesus possesses all the same knowledge and glory as God, because he was taught by him too. And the same kingdom sitting at the right hand of power, in the express image and likeness of the Father. Mediator for man, being filled with the fullness of the mind of the Father, or in other words, the Spirit of the Father, which Spirit is shed forth upon all who believe on his name and keep his commandments. Okay, so that wasn't what I was going to do. That's what I did yesterday, I believe. Just wanted to make sure. See, if I pass all these up, maybe it's okay, but I need to go back, because like what I want to do is Godhood. Because that's what we want to attain, is Godhood. So we need to know what it is, right? And then over here it's got God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it's got God of battles. And then God of gods. God of Israel. God of hosts. God of Jacob. God of Jeshurun. God of nature, God of our fathers, God of spirits, God of this world. Oh my. This one here says God of this world. And then it says, see children of disobedience, devil, world. This world of carnality and lust, of every lascivious and evil thing, belongs to Satan. He created it. He is its father and its God. All those who belong to it, all those who are carnal, sensual, and devilish are his children, and the children of disobedience. The earth itself is the Lord's, and he is its ruler. But the world, the corrupt society on earth, is under the rule of him who is the God of this world. If our gospel be hid, Paul wrote, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. It says 2 Corinthians 4, verses 3 and 4. The nature of man is carnal is all I know. And I hate that thought. But see, the only way to fight him off is with God. The battle of good and evil. That's what is going on. So, bring yourself into the light. That sounded terrible. Here's Gog and Magog. What is that? Okay. See armies of heaven. Battle of Armageddon. Battle of the great God. Millennium. Second coming of Christ. Supper of the great God. War. 1, it says, our Lord is to come again in the midst of the battle of Armageddon, or in other words, during the course of the great war between Israel and Gog and Magog. At the second coming, all the nations of the earth are to be engaged in battle, and the fighting is to be in progress in the area of Jerusalem and Armageddon. Okay, here's some verses to look up if you want. Okay, I think that's Ezekiel, Z-E-C-H, chapter 11, verse 12. No. Chapter 11, 12, 13. Revelations 16, verses 14 through 21. The prophecies do not name the modern nations which will be fighting for and against Israel, but the designation Gog and Magog is given to the combination of nations which are seeking to overthrow and destroy the remnant of the Lord's chosen seed. The 38th and 39th chapters of Ezekiel record considerable prophetic detail relative to this great war. Maybe we should go there. Okay, what is this? Okay, Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39. Ezekiel. Ezekiel, and then you want chapters. Maybe I'll read that sometime. Chapters 38 and 39. Okay, so that's supposed to tell us about what? Let's see, it just said. But they're talking about Gog and Magog. And Magog. I didn't spell that right. Magog. Okay. Doesn't name the nations, but like it sounded almost like these were acronyms, but not necessarily. But the designation Gog and Magog is given to the combination of nations. So several different nations will be fighting together. That just reminds me of that last war I read about. They were so massive in number, the Lamanites were, because they took on all these different tribes that felt the way they did. And then the Nephites took on some tribes to go with them, but I think they only had a couple extra ones. All I know is the Lamanites beat them because of sheer numbers, because they had so many people. They just kept going and going and going until there was no more Nephites. But at this point in time, the war had been going on so much, battling the Nephites and the Lamanites against each other. And also then there was another group called the Gadianton robbers. They would come and steal everything you had. I mean, you'd work and get your crop up, and then they'd come and take it and leave you with nothing. Cities. They were really bad. They're murdering and doing all kinds of stuff. I don't know, but I remember reading that. Gadianton robbers. Not cool. Okay, so what was the point? The point was they were taking on different tribes. That's what it was. So they're saying that right there. Be fighting and, let's see. The prophecies do not name the modern nations which will be fighting for and against Israel, but the designation Gog and Magog is given to the combination of nations which are seeking to overthrow and destroy the remnant of the Lord's chosen seed, which that's probably the Jews' chosen seed. Anyway, it's all of Abraham's seed, and there's 12 tribes of Israel. It's not just Jews. The Indians are a remnant of the tribe of Judah. I believe that's what I just read not long ago. They are of the house of Israel, you guys. The Lamanites, the Indians, are of the house of Israel, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, which are the children of Abraham. There's something weird in there where I think there's like one child that has two sons, and those two sons take apart. But it is the seed of Abraham, no matter all these different tribes. And there's 10 lost tribes, guys. They're going to come from the land northward. Now, I don't know where they've been. I just know they're coming from the land northward, and there's some speculation that maybe they're under the earth, inside the earth. We'll just say the land northward. And that's one of the signs that's going to happen before all is said and done, before Jesus comes again, is the 10 tribes are going to come back. And they're going to have their record with them too. In other words, just because you got a record from over yonder way, you think that God don't talk to the rest of the people. Think again. God Almighty. I just read that. Okay, so I was reading and I stopped, but I wasn't supposed to be reading that. But it is talking about probably what is going on right now. I always knew that one of the prophecies of the last days is that every nation will be fighting over Israel. That's one of them. The lost 10 tribes are going to be coming back. That's got to happen before Jesus comes again too. I'm not sure about where that one came from, talking about America being desolate, that not even a dog would wag his tail. Not sounding too good. And then, like I said, I'm not sure where that one came from, and maybe that's not real. Okay? But I had heard that. I know that it is speculative, actually, because as far as I know, there's going to be a New Jerusalem, and it's going to be close to Jackson County, Missouri. And I believe that the gate to the Garden of Eden is close up there. The one where you can't go back in. He placed cherubim and whatever. He placed guards at the gate. But the gate is up there. Adam Amdai Ammon, I believe, is the name. And I'm not sure if that isn't the brother of Jared, because that's a hard name to say. Anyway, I get some of my facts all confused. But the gateway to the Garden of Eden is right there. Not right there in Jackson County, but up a little ways. I mean, as the neck of the woods goes for the whole country, it's pretty close, okay? Anyway, the point was, I had heard that these 144,000 elders, 12,000 from each tribe of Israel, will be walking back to that area to build the New Jerusalem. Okay, that's what I remember from when I was young. But I'm not really sure. Because, see, in my mind, me and my dad don't agree on some things. And I was right on some, but I haven't come across that. And what is it? Oh, in the end, in the millennium, I thought there was going to be three headquarters, okay? But maybe there's just going to be two. But see, the city of Enoch is going to come down and be the New Jerusalem. And so we're supposed to be building the New Jerusalem. I mean, in my head, that's what I thought. So we wouldn't be building a New Jerusalem if the city of Enoch is coming down to be it. Unless the city of Enoch is going to come down over there in Jerusalem. So I think Dad is saying there's just going to be two headquarters, and that would kind of make sense, I guess, since it's, and that's not going to be true, because I was going to say, since there's two bodies of land, but it's all going to be one land. But it'll be massive. And even though Jesus Christ is ruling, reigning, he will have his leaders. I believe kings and queens. Anyway, the millennium is going to be a wonderful, wonderful place. Thing, time, everything. And it's going to be on this earth, so. When Jesus comes again, I mean, I was taught those who are worthy will be lifted up. Meaning we will ascend up, and there's going to be major destruction below. And the picture that picture just came into my mind. I don't know the name of the movie. You know, there's so many about that. Like the one that had the big wave coming. And then there was the other one where they had the barges, the arks. They call them arks, all ready to go, and only certain people could go. But anyway, I'm talking about the part where you see the world just falling apart. I mean, when you see someone trying to take off in an airplane, and the earth is crumbling beneath it. It's just barely getting out of there, and the earth and the buildings and everything is just all coming down. Massive, and fire. So anyway, picture that in your mind. We want to be worthy to not be left behind. You know, that Left Behind series is I'm not sure about that, okay? Because yes, it does say 2 will be on the roof and 1 will be taken and 1 won't. 2 will be doing something in the field and 1 will be taken and 1 won't. That Left Behind business just reminds me of when the second coming happens, when Jesus comes in the sky and everybody can see him and everybody's with him, and the righteous will be lifted up to join him, and the wicked will be burned as stubble. And the earth is going to go through that change. Like I said, it's going to, I'm not sure if that's going to happen exactly at that moment, but I'm picturing it. Because all those who are worthy will be lifted up in the sky. And the earth, I can picture the earth going through all that turmoil, falling apart. Because the land is all supposed to go to one place, and the water, I mean, they're going to share the earth, the sphere, but they're going to be separated. And some of it I don't know. I mean, so I can't say that I know all of that, but I've been taught that and told that. Maybe sometimes I come up with that from my studies. Okay, so I have gotten off of the switch. I've gone crazy, and I'm already past an hour. This one says God of Truth. Well, this is a very short one, but the words kind of get me. It says God of Truth. It says see Christ. And then it says personification, truth, way, truth, and life. Christ is a God of truth. And then it's got EX, so that must be Exodus. Okay, EX chapter 34, verse 6. And Deuteronomy 32, verse 4. I don't know what that is. It says P, and then it's got a small s. 31:5. Meaning he is the embodiment, and personification of truth. In the same sense, he is the God of grace, mercy, love, righteousness, charity, integrity, and all of the attributes of godliness. Okay, that's all that says of that. Okay, well, since I'm over an hour, I probably ought to stop. But I didn't do Godhood, and that is something that I think we should probably do. And then this one says God of this world. See children of disobedience. I didn't like that one because it says that Satan is the God of this world. But he's not. They're talking about not the physical world, but the mental, probably. Anyway, it is. I know it's our job to fight off the carnal nature of man. Temptation. And if you don't fight it off, you're going to go right straight. A place where you don't want to go. Huh. God of Spirits, it says. I wonder if I should read that. Yes. It's really short. God of Spirits says, see Christ, Father in heaven, God, pre-existence, our Father in heaven, and then it's got Matthew 6, verse 9, is the God of spirits. And it's got Numbers, chapter 16, verse 22, and chapter 27, verse 16, or the Father of spirits, Hebrews 12, verse 9, meaning that he is the literal parent of the Spirit Christ and of all other spirits. Inasmuch, however, as Christ attained godhood while yet in pre-existence, he too stood as a God to the other spirits. But this relationship was not the same one of personal parenthood that prevailed between the Father and his offspring. And that's all of that. And I think I need to do that again. Christ as attained godhood. While yet in pre-existence, he too stood as a god to the other spirits. But this relationship was not the same one of personal parenthood that prevailed between the Father and his offspring. That prevailed. Okay, those are words we got to look at. So I'm going to stop. And I'm going to hope that maybe I did something good today. Any of you out there that get my messages that have some type of control or influence out there, please try to steer things in the right way. We need to reevaluate, and we need to get about business, or we're going to just, it's not good, people. Okay, and I don't know anything, and I'm not prophesying anything about that. I'm not a prophet in a way that I could prophesy to you. So for in my understanding, when I'm reading and stuff, I will tell you when I don't know, but I'll also tell you when I do. And some things I do know, especially after having that vision. I'm pretty sure. Sure, I got some answers. And answers that were good that I needed, because really I had no idea how in the world we could do that. And the thing is, we are only given what we can handle. So that's another thing to remember. When they say line upon line and precept upon precept, you have to endeavor, and you try, and you get this one point finally, and then so now maybe you're ready for a different point to be added to that. I don't know if that's going to make sense to you, but in your learning, some things you have to know first before you can learn more or understand more. Oh, now I get it. Anyway, thanks for listening. And I love you guys. Okay. Take care. And someday soon, I'll be back to read something else. I think I'm going to read Godhood. So for that's God of this world. I think I already read that. See, I don't even know what I've read. God of Abraham. Godhood. That's what I want to read. All right, so I'm going to take this and mark it. Because that is what we want to attain, is Godhood. Okay, people? Okay, oh gosh, I'm tired. I'm ready to go take a nap. What I need to do is go take a walk. And so what I'm going to do is get off of here and then go check out Papa Bear. See what's happening, and then I think I'll take a walk. Or I'll try. Because I'm not sure how windy it is out there. I think the high today is going to be like 64. And yes, I could eat something too. Nuts are very important. So I made a smaller smoothie yesterday than I used to make, and I think I could make even a smaller one. But I didn't have any greens in it, and actually we have apples too. So I mean, I could switch up my smoothie. I have some spinach and kale I can add to it. Yeah, that would be good. Okay. See, I think the apple will help sweeten up the kale and the spinach. I have some celery too, but I gotta have some sweetness in there, I'm sure. I'm not gonna want to eat it. And I also want to start making sure I have walnuts every day, because they are so good for you. And while I listened to William Lee, Dr. William Lee, he was talking about the walnuts and the nuts, just nuts of the trees all being good for you, but especially, I don't know if it was especially walnuts, but you need a few walnuts every day. And that's the way to get them in me, is in my smoothie. And then also the spinach and the kale, that would be really good. So, back to the smoothies, just I can't have all fruit. And also I wasn't taking my medicine, so now I'm back on metformin. I don't want to be. And I think I just need to listen to all these videos because food is medicine. And certain food kills cancer. And also certain foods stops the blood vessels from growing and giving them nutrients. In other words, cancer goes out, sends out feelers and makes its own blood vessels and takes your nutrients away. So, I'm going to listen to him a lot. And then we'll see from there. But he's making a lot of sense. Now, tomatoes are really good for you, but what he's saying is you really should probably heat them up. Instead of eating them raw, you could heat them up in a frying pan. Like the other day, I heated up mushrooms and onions and tomato, but it was quite moist. And I should have got rid of all the moisture first because the onions and the mushrooms, I don't know if they call that sweating, but they produced a lot of liquid themselves. So, I have some experimentation to do. But the more greens we get in us, the better. And we need to do whatever we can do to jumpstart our immune system. And I have to learn about that because I don't know. Anyway, thank you, little sister, for sharing all of that information with me. I appreciate it. And I am checking it out, okay? The song's playing in my head now about a little sister. I'm very musically oriented here. I'm all sloped down on my desk. Nevertheless, people, I will let you go. It's at an hour and 17 minutes. Have a good day, whatever day, whenever, what year, I don't know, that you get this, okay? And maybe in the future I'll still be around. That would be nice, I think. You know, sometimes, I don't know. That's what I've said. People don't understand me sometimes, but there's something that I tried to tell people before, and hopefully some have gotten the message. But the point is, when the time comes and you're only living because of medication, I know I'm pausing because, you know, you got to choose your right words. Because, you know, there's the deal. You have to take all things into consideration, okay? I'm not saying if your medicine is the only thing keeping you alive to stop taking your medicine and die. But what I am saying is if your quality of life is such that is horrible, and then also maybe your family is not around anymore, and you're by yourself suffering, and what do you got to do? Choose whether you're going to have medicine or eat. And what I keep seeing is taking pills and sleeping. Waking up and taking your pills and eating some food and sleeping. Where's your quality of life? And if you have no family around, and you're ending up in a nursing home, you know, maybe you're in good enough shape that you're not so bad. But I know there's some that are in horrible shape. And if the only thing keeping them alive is their medication, I think it's time to let that go. And what I'm trying to say is people have a right to choose. You don't have to stick around and be miserable forever. No, and sometimes if you just understand that you're going to heaven, life is going to be beautiful all the time. No, I mean, really, you're going to go to heaven. And if you've been a good person, you're going into paradise. And it's a beautiful place to be until you're waiting until you get resurrected. And I imagine you're not just sitting there waiting. I imagine there's things going on. I mean, I picture my mother very busy. I don't think she's sitting around. She's busy, whether it be teaching the gospel to someone else or I don't know, because all those people in spirit prison will be taught. I just always thought we would know. When we die, I know we're going to get our memory back from our pre-existence. And so how would we not know the gospel? But see, it's not just that, I guess, because the ordinances have to be done here on earth. That's what I know. And that's what those temples are about. Going and doing the work for those people who are dead and cannot do it for themselves. Then they can say yes or no, but who would say no to being in the Church of Jesus Christ? It's Latter-day Saints in the name, but it really is the Church of Jesus Christ. And Latter-day Saints is this time frame that we're in. So I stopped because I was talking about those people who are dead. And so they know. I know they know. They have to know. Anyway, I'm going to go try to walk, so maybe I'll talk some more in a minute. And I don't know how long I'll make it. But I'll go check on my Papa Bear and see what else I need to do before I do. But I got to do some walking. I'll go walking, and I don't want to sing that song, so I need another one. I'm so silly. I just need to figure out some stuff. So you guys, I don't know if I confused you or if I enlightened you or if you had anything to go chase down or just food for thought, okay? But it is what I think about. I think about life forever in those terms. We're not dying. I mean, we might be dying as to this body, but we're not dead because we are eternal. Our spirit will live forever, I think. There are exceptions to the rule. Because I don't know. I was thinking that everybody would partake in the resurrection. And I think they will, but they might not get there for a long, 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 long time. Because those who do get a chance that were bad might not come until the last. Because there'll be a first resurrection, a second resurrection, who knows how many different ones. And I'm talking about time frames, okay? So people will be coming into the millennium, and from what I read the other day, they're going to be leaving when they're 100 years old, okay? So hopefully the right people come together. I want to be with my mate. I want to be with my companion. I want to come forth in the morning of the first resurrection. I want to get about our business, start the millennium, hit the ground running with my mate. That's what I want. So, I have goals, even if I only have a little while left. And that is not going to be the case. I mean, if I go, it'll be okay, guys, but I don't want to go. I really don't want to go now. Because I think I have something to live for. Before I had something to live for, but not really. Not in that way. So, we shall see what happens. Because what's going on with this war? It's over Israel. You just heard me read about that prophecy. That's one of the things that's got to happen, I guess. Ouch. But I'm not sure about when the 10 tribes of Israel are coming, but they are. And I do know that our missionaries are gathering in Israel right now. all those who join the church are coming into the house of Israel. Now, some of them are already of certain tribes, but others will be adopted in. I don't really know. I know that I'm of the house of Israel, not the house of Israel, the tribe of Ephraim. Ephraim is where and it says that my blood came from there. So, because a lot of people these days that are adopted into Ephraim, so I don't know about that, but it does say that my blood came in a marvelous way. Have a nice patriarchal blessing. And when you're young, you just don't understand the wonderfulness of it. But it is pretty wonderful. So, I'm going to say, take care. Oh, I don't know how to mark my videos except for that I'm visiting and then I read this and that. I do need a hashtag because then maybe someone will come and see my stuff. If you guys, I need to use you guys for spreading the word. If you like what you see in any of my videos, please share me with your friends. And I guess really if you posted me on your news feed, that might work. But like I was wanting you to really share me with a friend. Say, check this girl out. This woman out. I do not want to call me an old lady, but I am older. I'm going to be 70 this month. Weird. When I was young, you don't have a conception of age. I can remember thinking 30 was so old. I've sat here with these glasses on all the time, huh? Oh well. I need to go eat something good. Go find something good to eat, you people. And I'll do the same. I'll go have some. I did get up and have some grapes first thing. See, grapes are good for fighting cancer. Probably not the thing you're supposed to eat first thing. And then, probiotics. I was listening to Dr. William Lee this morning, okay? They were talking about probiotics. But certain things is just better to get out of food, is what they're saying. But they were talking about your gut bacteria is real important. And I don't know how the heck they can judge all that stuff. Microscopic bacteria is. But it's part of their scientific lab stuff. So I'm going to go have something good. Hopefully good for me. And I'll be back in a little while. I got to go for a walk. So take care. Let me see. Happy Trails is playing in my head. I was just wondering what is a good one to leave you on. Put your shoulder to the wheel, push along. Do your duty with a heart full of song. We all have work, let no one shirk. Put your shoulder to the wheel. And there's more to it, but I don't know those words. That's one of the songs from church. But it's true, we all have work, let no one shirk. Put your shoulder to the wheel. And that can be taken in many forms, just helping your fellow man is working for God. He wants you to love your brothers and sisters and help bring them up and not throw them down, not throw them in prison for things that are stupid, and let those ones that are really being bad, put them in the prison. And then don't waste time. I mean, if they're murderers and they're caught red-handed, why do you need to go to trial on that? You got it on camera. Take care of business. Put them out of our misery. That's the way I feel about it. You take someone else's life, if it was intentional, there's reasons that things happen, and intent is the big deal. Intentionally kill somebody, or it's an accident. There's a difference. But there's no sense lingering longer, how many years, and taking care of this person and giving him rights when he's taken someone's life. And he did it intentionally and was caught red-handed. Then why do you need to go through all this stuff? You don't. You remove him. Get rid of him or her, but make sure that you don't do it unjustly, meaning you need to make sure that that person did that. So I'm just saying, I guess things can be faked, so you do need to do something, but a lot of times they know. A lot of times the bad guy gets out because he's the one that can afford the lawyer. He can afford to make deals and stuff. Sad but true. Anyway, it's past time. I need to quit at 333. I love my 333 numbers, and that started all this mess. I wasn't headed in this direction. I was reading, I've got to get back to that. I was reading Jesus the Christ, and the next one I'm going to do is the second chapter, which is about the pre-existence. So that'll be really good. In the meantime, and in between time, you guys take care. Have fun. Love yourself and love your family. And spread the good word. Just smile, because that helps. Because smiles are very catchy. Very catchy. All right. Take care, guys.